What's up, Taiwan? I'm Jaime Ocon with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off with politics. Taiwan's 2024 presidential election is just over 5 months away, and the three candidates have been out wooing voters on local issues and building their foreign policy credentials. Stash Butler reports.
Cheers for the ruling party presidential candidate at a campaign rally in rural Taiwan. In front of a gathering of livestock farmers, frontrunner Lai Ching-te pledged he'll fly the flag for Taiwan's agriculture. In central Taiwan, a temple procession greeted Taiwan People's Party candidate Ke Wen-je as he too set out to win support outside of Taiwan's big cities. Ke served as mayor of Taipei for 8 years up till 2022. Now, the popular politician from a relatively new party says he's ready to lead all of Taiwan. But it's ties with overseas partners that are the focus of opposition Kuomintang candidate Hou Yu-ih. Following his rival Ke Wen-je's trip to Japan last month, it's now Hou's turn to build ties with Taiwan's neighbor to the northeast, a partner growing in importance as China, which claims Taiwan, ramps up its military activity around the island nation.
在台日对话关系之下，共同促进印太地区的安全与稳定。
As January's election approaches, Taiwan's candidates are working to prove to voters they can fix the problems facing Taiwan from within and handle the threats it faces from abroad. Eason Pan and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
Foxconn founder and Taiwanese billionaire Terry Guo has left Taiwan for a 10-day visit to the U.S. Speaking on Sunday before taking off, Guo said he plans to relay the concerns of Taiwan's people to his contacts there.
台湾真正的主流民意是要和平，不要战争。
Guo's recent activity has fueled speculation that he will run for president as an independent in 2024. That's after he failed to secure the Kuomintang nomination in May. He has also become closer with another presidential contender, Ke Wen-je of the Taiwan People's Party, with some saying the two could form an alliance. But Guo has not confirmed whether he will make a presidential bid. The Taiwan's People's Party has removed a controversial English slogan from their website. The party took heat on social media after the catchphrase "Vote White, Vote Right" was discovered on Sunday. Users of the platform X, formerly known as Twitter, say it sounds like those used by racists in the U.S. The Taiwan People's Party official colors are cyan and white. They market themselves as an alternative to the green Democratic Progressive Party and the blue Kuomintang.
台湾没有所谓白人至上主义的这样子的概念。那因为近期有许多这个西方的友人，然后还有很多的网民给我们很多的建议，那我们也会从善如流，那针对此部分先行进行修改。
Moving on to national security, Taiwan's cabinet has proposed a bigger defense budget for next year. The budget would total $14 billion, an increase of 7.5% from 2023. The draft proposal will be sent to lawmakers for review in August. Aside from the standard defense budget, there are also two special budgets this year meant to improve the military's air and sea strike capabilities and to improve fighter jets. Each of those are worth roughly $1.5 billion. Taiwan's Vice Premier Zheng Wen-tan highlighted the push for Taiwan to build its own self-defense capabilities.
台湾需要增加国防的力量，才有和平的筹码，才能够展现我们保护自己的决心，努力的实现国防自主。
To help with that push in defense, the U.S. recently agreed to sell Taiwan more than $345 million worth of weapons. But that sale comes as deals worth more than $19 billion are still delayed. Well, to find out why it's taking so long, I spoke to Raymond Guo, a security analyst from the RAND Corporation. This recent arms sale to Taiwan is supposedly the first time that the U.S. is taking from existing stockpiles. What does that mean? What difference does that make compared to past sales?
Typically what Taiwan has gotten has been just arms sales. So the U.S. says, hey, here's a list of stuff that you have that we're willing to offer to you. And then Taiwan will fork over the money in advance usually. And then the United States their factories will get to start producing these things. As they're produced, they're then shipped over. So this takes a while, right? Like, signing the contract, negotiating the contract, then actually producing it. All this stuff takes a long time. And I think it's at least like 3.5 years for a fighter jet. But if you're going from existing stockpiles, like the United States is doing with Ukraine, well, it's already built, right? We're just going to crate it up in a box and ship it on over. So that's an extremely efficient and fast way to do things, so long as Taiwan has the money.
This sale was worth about $345 million, but there's still $19 billion worth of weapons and equipment that's delayed, and some of these systems were purchased in 2019. Can you explain the current situation and why these systems are delayed?
There's a lot of competition for U.S. military resources, so you've got Israel, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, other major purchasers who want, to some extent, similar things as what Taiwan wants. But the big issue is this. At the end of the Cold War, the United States reaped a peace dividend. We no longer have to maintain as big of a military, and especially a defense industrial base, to create these weapons on the fly and is in high quantities. But as we see that territorial aggression, great power conflict, and even minor power conflict are back on the table, that kind of disinvestment or kind of atrophying of the defense industrial base, that's the major issue. The U.S. just can't produce as many weapons as it used to, and as many weapons and ammunition in particular, as modern warfare requires. So we're seeing this in the case of Ukraine. We're also seeing this in the case of Taiwan.
Taiwan has been boosting its domestic defense industry, but given this delay, is there anything that Taiwan can do to kind of manage the situation and beef up its own arsenal while it waits for these weapons?
One big issue is that you need to know how to use the weapons you get or that you produce. And so there's a lot of hardware stuff, right? But there's also a lot of software stuff that is just as important. Do the soldiers know how to use the weapon? I think the Hong Kong exercises that have just been completed were kind of a good example of that. They were training soldiers and having them demonstrate their uses of javelin missiles, for example. So great, as more javelins come online, they can be paired up with the soldiers who know how to train them. But this can be done at a much wider scale.
That was Raymond Guo, a security analyst with the RAND Corporation. Politician Yang Pei-hua has become the first Taiwanese woman to visit Ukraine's front line in their war with Russia, and she had this warning on her return.
台湾甚至连备战都还没有，连心态上也还没准备好，连政策上也还没准备好，然后人民也还没有准备好。其实落差是真的非常大的，对，所以去的时候是真的有点吓到，就觉得原来战争是长这个样子。
Yang is chief executive of the Kaohsiung branch of the Taiwan State Building Party. She visited Ukraine for nearly 3 weeks this month to fact-find and deliver aid. Yang says she was impressed by Ukraine's determination to fend off Russia's invasion, and she says Taiwan has a lot to learn in its own struggle against Chinese aggression. Now for some international news. U.S. cybersecurity experts are hunting for suspected Chinese malware they say could affect military operations. That's according to a report from the New York Times. The report quotes unnamed U.S. officials who are concerned hackers working for China's military have infiltrated private military and civilian networks. These include power grids, communication systems, and water supplies. U.S. officials are reportedly worried that hostile code placed in these systems could disrupt operations during a military conflict, such as if China invaded Taiwan. Reports say that the first sign of malware began to show in late May. That's when Microsoft detected suspicious computer code in Guam, which houses a massive U.S. military base. More than 40 people are dead and 130 injured after a suicide bomber set off explosives at a political rally in Pakistan. The blast happened on Sunday at a meeting of a conservative religious party with strong ties to Pakistan's coalition government. It comes amid a spike in terrorist attacks in the country's northwest, many of them attributed to Pakistan's Taliban. That group has tied itself distance from the bombing, condemning it in a statement. Back in Taiwan, Typhoon Khanun is expected to bring rain to Taiwan on Wednesday and Thursday. It comes as the country is cleaning up after Typhoon Doksuri, which brought wind and heavy rainfall last week. John Ventrez has this update.
Lines stretch along the docks of Donggang in South Taiwan from a 4-day backlog of travelers. This port town is the gateway to the resort island of Xiaoliuqiu, but last week its ferries stopped running due to rough seas driven by Typhoon Doksuri. Though the waves hadn't yet completely calmed down, the ferries started up again on Sunday. But it's unclear how long they'll keep running for. As Taiwan and its outlying islands clean up the aftermath of Doksuri, a new storm is brewing. Typhoon Khanun is expected to pass north of Taiwan, not making landfall, but close enough to bring more rough weather. Forecasters expect the storm will come closest on Wednesday before heading to China's east coast.
受到这个台风的外围环流的影响，所以在周二的话，主要的雨区主要是在偏向在北部地区，然后再来是南部地区。
It means Taiwan can expect another week of high seas, strong winds, and heavy downpours. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Nearly 1,000 Tainan residents have protested plans to build a new garbage incinerator in the city. The plan is to replace an older incinerator that needs to go offline for repairs in 2026. 13 neighborhoods have petitioned against the plan. Residents of the southwestern Taiwanese city say they've had enough of air pollution, as much of it comes from a nearby industrial park. A Taiwanese badminton squad has won a gold medal at the Japan Open. Wang Qilin and Li Yang took the top prize for the men's doubles on Sunday after beating their Japanese opponents in 2 straight sets. It's the pair's first tournament victory of the year. They'd previously taken gold at the 2020 Olympics. Taiwan's movie scene is dominated by local films, U.S. blockbusters, and hits from the country's East Asian neighbors. But on Friday, for the first time, audiences enjoyed an award-winning feature in the Bengali-Language. Sivan Paul reports.
Between summer blockbusters Oppenheimer and Barbie, Taipei moviegoers now have a third option, these 2 Indian boys making cinematic history. Their movie, Dostoji, is the first ever Bengali-language Indian movie to be released in Taiwan. It's a tale of a bond bridging religious divides, starring 2 first-time actors.
These 2 boys' smile and friendship is really attractive me to know more about this film.
The boys' charm convinced Taiwanese producer Ivy Yu Shan to help release the art house Indian film, crafted by a first-time director on a shoestring budget with a ragtag crew. It opened in Taipei on July 28 to a sellout crowd.
It's quite unprecedented that a Bengali language movie has brought so many Taiwanese people to this theater. The film Dostoji has been released across Taiwan in more than 15 theaters and has been receiving rave reviews.
The film's title comes from the Bengali word for friend, and its message of friendship and harmony has crossed the language barrier in Taiwan.
This is the best movie. I'm very touching. My heart.
Bengali cinema has a long pedigree. India's first Oscar-winning filmmaker, Satyajit Ray, made most of his films in the language, which is spoken by about 270 million people, mostly in India and Bangladesh. In fact, it was Ray's classic Pather Panchali, or Songs of the Road, that inspired Dostoji's director Prasun Chatterjee to make this film.
Those were like eye-openers for me. Like I started thinking that how it's possible. So I have watched that film, like what I told you, for maybe 30 good times.
Like Ray's masterpiece, Chatterjee's debut movie has also won international recognition. And its positive reception here in Taipei is poised to open new avenues for collaboration between 2 Asian art house cinema legends, India and Taiwan. Isan Chen and Shubham Pal for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally today, we leave with the images of the large Arab exhibition in London. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care and see you next time.